After the initial road shows, where the artists went into schools, then came the workshops, then came the tour of the show 10 years from now, and this is the final stage, which is where we hand ownership back to the young people and ask them to put on their own events. So as far as our involvement has been, we booked the venue for them. We said May the 20th, you got a venue booked, Tenside Theatre. Apart from that, it was down for the young people to work with the small budget that was provided by Theatre Is, to book their own acts, to design their own flyers, get the flyers printed, get them distributed, sort their lineup, speak to the technical people, get their backstage done, do all the makeup, everything, get their t-shirts done, all this kind of stuff. So basically this is an event for young people, run by young people. And I think it's one of the first of its kind. Because I mean, there have been kind of under 18s events, but that's obviously adults putting them on. But this is the first thing that's an all ages event where they're running it. You know, I intend to tomorrow be sitting in the audience, just sitting back and watching it happen. Maybe I'll have to run up occasionally and make sure that everything's going as it should go. But they've been really impressive, you know. I think if you treat young people like adults, they kind of raise their game to that level.
I was going to ask that question, sure, when I was that age, I could just about get myself down for breakfast.
Oh, totally. So, exactly.
So how have they embraced the whole concept? Yeah,
really. I think because this is a much smaller group now. Initially, we kind of, you know, we were meeting kind of hundreds of young people from around Thurrock, and then through the workshops, then through the 10 years from now process, this final kind of 20 young people, they've been on a long journey. So those who've made it this far are the ones who really got commitment and are already showing kind of entrepreneurial spirit at the ages of 15, 16.
But one of the things about your whole organisation is very disciplined, isn't it? I remember watching the rehearsals for 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And there's no mucking about, is there? And this is still part of that strict regime.
Totally, yeah. I think, well, we're not any stricter on them than we would with professionals. But the whole point is we have this whole thing. If you treat young people as adults, they will raise their game to an adult level. You know, you treat young artists like professionals, they'll raise to a professional level. So yeah, they feel how it is to be a professional in this world, but they kind of raise their game to that, yeah.
And so a show at the Tenside tomorrow, 7:30.
Yeah, May the 20th, 7:30.
After that?
After that, we've got some very exciting things coming up. Actually, there've been. I just had to raise some things with them now. That we've got interest We've got interest from something in Brussels to go over there. We've got interest from a circus theatre company. And we've got interest to tour 10 years from now, the show that you saw being performed. Now, it's funny because Theatre has come to me as the kind of facilitator of this group and say, you know, this is what we've got on offer. But actually, the young people have to make that decision. So we don't say, you are touring your show again. You are going to Brussels for this youth theatre meeting or something. We put it to them and we say, you know, maybe here are 3. You don't have budget to do all 3, you decide which is best to do. So even in the kind of next process, they're always integrated. The young people are deciding where they want to move their company. And it really is a company, and they've got their own name, they're called the Frontline Crew, and they've got their own name, their own branding, their own t-shirts, their own flyers. So I think the future is more about sitting back and letting them just take over more and more. In fact, we've got a young person down with us today, Tom Povey, who I originally met 2.5 years ago in Norfolk when we first ever did It's Our Theatre, and had never touched the microphone before. And we taught him beatboxing, you know, human beatboxing. And he's performing tomorrow night as one of the professional paid artists, and he makes his living now as a beatboxer. So he's a perfect example of how in a couple of years, and he came through the It's Our Theatre programme, the kind of professional development programme. He's a perfect example of how in a couple of years you can go from a 15-year-old we meet at a school somewhere to someone making a living in the music and entertainment industry.